This is a video, a short video about the Consumer Rights Act 2015. Now you may have seen another series of videos I've been doing, which is chassis repair on this car. And the Consumer Rights Act 2015 is partly to do with this car. Well, this is what brings me to the subject anyway. The Consumer Rights Act 2015 was introduced, funnily enough, in 2015. It's supposed to give consumers more rights and easier resolution of problems and so on and so forth with regards new and used products, including cars and second-hand cars. It basically brought all in, into one act, one law or legislation, various laws such as Sales of Goods Act and distance selling regulations and so on and so forth, loads of them, all into one lovely little act. Unfortunately, as I've discovered, this act, and I don't know if this applies to others, is actually impotent. It has no use whatsoever, and I shall explain. I bought this car from Bolton Van Sales in Bolton, owned by a Mr. Ian Walker, and the Sales of Goods Act and various other acts say that with regards to used cars, if you're a professional seller, trader, dealer, whatever, it is their responsibility to ensure the vehicle is in a roadworthy condition. And just having an MOT on it or claiming that they didn't know, they weren't aware, it's not the responsibility of the buyer, myself, as I've been told by the seller. It is the responsibility of the seller. So what do? The Consumer Rights Act 2015. Thank heavens for that. So according to that, there's several avenues you can follow. One of them is you write or email the seller and you reject the vehicle under the terms of the Consumer Rights Act 2015, in that it is of unsatisfactory quality, it's not roadworthy, etc. Now, you do that. If you don't get a response, you can try ringing them. So you phone them and you speak to them, you explain all of that, and you say why you're rejecting it. And the person can either give you a refund or repair it, whatever, part refund, so on. Or they can just basically tell you to go forth and multiply and hang up on you, which is, in effect, what Mr. Ian Walker at Bolton Van Sales did. So you think, what do I do next? There isn't anything you can do next, except all the seller has to do is not respond to anything, and there is nothing at all you can do about it, except go down a very long and expensive route of taking them to the small claims court. In the meantime, you don't get your money back. You have a car sitting that you can't use, and you either have to buy another vehicle, which the vast majority of people couldn't afford to do, especially if you pay cash, or you do what I do, which is think, oh well, sod it, and you repair it yourself at huge expense, which is what I'm currently doing. So the Sales of Goods Act, in writing and in theory, it's a brilliant idea. All these different rights and powers that you have. But as the old saying goes, power is nothing without control. And all the seller has to do, in this case, Mr. Ian Walker of Bolton Van Sales, all he has to do is ignore me or tell me he's not going to do anything, and there is absolutely nothing I can do except go through the courts, which you're looking at least 6 to 9 months. And expense, and there's no guarantee you'll win, there's no guarantee that your fees will be covered, your court costs. So there you go. So if you buy something, if it's from a large organisation, some main dealer, or it's a brand new item or used item from something, cash converter, say you bought something from there, or wherever you bought something from Curry's, then great. They're professional companies. They want to protect their reputation, keep the customer happy, and they'll more than likely just give you a refund or they'll repair it or whatever. But when you're dealing with your everyday bod, small little company, you've got no chance. If they're honest, great. If they're dishonest, then that's where your problems start. So don't rely on the Consumer Rights Act 2015. Amen.